Women can often fall into that in relationships, that their partner's not meeting them, that they then begin to turn it on themselves and just thinking it's another problem wrong with them and that they just need to keep fixing themselves. And maybe if they fix themselves enough, then their partner will change. This is very much tied to overfunctioning.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of True Northing. We hope everybody is having a great week. It's sunny, nice and sunny and hot where I am. We're enjoying those pool days and getting ready to take off for the beach. And Allie, you've been enjoying your travels and the California sunshine right now.
Yeah, it's actually been quite nice and overcast where I am, but enjoying those like cooler days before it heats up quite a bit. And yeah, the flowers and the evening walks and some beach time soon as well.
The signature California, well, I don't know if that's true of Ojai, but in Northern California, cold in the morning, you need a sweater, but then hot during the summer days, and then really cold again at night with the winds. You need a sweater again. Whereas I'm on the East Coast and enjoying the heat from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed.
Really, it's hot the whole day, huh?
Yeah.
Really been missing Northern California.
Have you?
I have. I want to go visit and just like take some time. The last times I've been, it's just been like short stints. But I want to go and just like, yeah, do the hikes, take it easy there, not like rush around and
It
enjoy
is.
enjoy it.
It is a lovely, lovely place. I look forward to going back soon too. So let's get into the conversation today. We are talking about the woman who is in a relationship with a low capacity man and she is deciding to stay in the relationship. How does a woman in an emotionally starved connection, an emotionally unsafe relationship, stay connected to herself, access her own internal sense of safety and well being?
And just to be clear here, we're not talking about staying in relationships that are causing immediate physical harm, that have any kind of abuse. We're not condoning that. What we're speaking to is the woman who is deciding to stay in a relationship where she doesn't have the emotional safety, where she doesn't have a partner with emotional maturity or capacity. And she is staying for maybe a number of different reasons. Maybe they have children. Maybe she is dependent financially. Maybe it's their faith or family values, whatever it is, why she may choose to stay. And so what can she do to nourish and care for herself while she's choosing to stay?
Perhaps the most important piece is acknowledging the truth within herself about the situation. She has to be honest with herself about what is happening, about the state of the relationship, about her partner's capacity, about her role in the dynamic. Often women will gaslight themselves unintentionally as they're trying to manage a situation that feels unmanageable, trying to navigate disconnection in relationship that feels unbearable, and handling all of the frustration that comes with that in trying to get her needs met and find the connection. And so she can struggle to get really clear and honest with herself about what's happening because she's stuck in the story of, if I can just do enough or present the information in a different way or give enough grace and patience that eventually he'll come around. Eventually, he will prioritize the things that are important to me. And so, as long as she's stuck in that dance and fighting against reality, she's not accepting reality. She's not acknowledging reality. She's kind of lying to herself.
So many women I see get stuck in that phase of trying, explaining, doing everything that they can to try and improve their relationship or try to make their partner more available, try to get their partner on the same page, try to have healing with their partner or their spouse. And they are working so hard. And so they are looking at themselves, they're looking at their partner, they're trying to have the conversation, they're trying to go to therapy. They're making every step that they can to try to improve the relationship. And this can last for years. But eventually, it's important always to get to the point where you're really seeing the relationship for what it is. If you've made these bids for connection, if you've made these attempts and your partner is not responding or receiving your influence or is meeting you there, then it's important that you're staying in the truth. And the truth is possibly that they don't have the capacity, that they're not interested in doing the healing work. They're maybe comfortable with what it is. And so allowing yourself to see the truth in reality for what it is instead of staying in the, oh, if I just say it this way, if I just do this thing, then they'll change. No, they're not changing. So step number one is being in reality, seeing it for what it is. And if you're listening to this episode, maybe you're there right now where you're willing to acknowledge what's there and start telling the truth. Start seeing the truth, telling yourself the truth, and not flipping it on yourself of like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? You know, maybe I'm so messed up that like I'll never have a partner that I want, or maybe this is all my fault. Women can often fall into that in relationships that their partner's not meeting them, that they then begin to turn it on themselves and just thinking it's another problem wrong with them and that they just need to keep fixing themselves. And maybe if they fix themselves enough, then their partner will change. This is very much tied to overfunctioning. So it's no more overfunctioning, no more over explaining, no more gaslighting yourself. You're telling the truth and you're staying with the truth. And that truth is going to need to remain consistent because you will have the voice that comes up that says, well, maybe just if I try this thing, like it's going to keep coming up. So it's important that you ground yourself into reality. Keep telling the truth.
It's very alluring. If your relationship story, your template of love says that I have to take responsibility for what might be going wrong, even when it's not my stuff. I have to overfunction. I have to overcompensate. You're going to continue to find those situations where your psyche, your unconscious mind is like, ooh, here's an opportunity for us to convince him to see things the way we want him to see things. And so, again, like you were saying, anchoring yourself in the truth, reminding yourself of the truth, continuing to do that. And then you were moving into a little bit of what I was thinking of next. And I don't know if you'd put them in this order, but responsibility. S- The truth, then comes the responsibility of what do I do with that truth? And the responsibility of looking at and owning your participation in the dynamic, not not that you are responsible for their behaviors, but your participation in the dance, your overfunctioning, you're making excuses, you're taking responsibility for things that aren't yours. So this is the responsible piece, is being able to look at, okay, if I'm anchored in this truth that he's responsible for this piece and I'm responsible for that piece. And it doesn't matter how I present this information. I've done it a gazillion times in all the different ways and really loving, grounded ways. And it's very clear to me the truth is he is not interested in this type of connection or journey that I'm interested in. He's not meeting me there. He doesn't want to, or he can't. If I'm anchored in that truth, well, then I'm responsible for then acting in accordance with that truth, meaning I'm not going to allow myself to continue to show up in the overfunctioning, in the making excuses or justifying or ignoring my limits. I have to really hold myself accountable to doing things differently.
Yes, the accountability to doing things differently. And I also see what's necessary in that space is feeling the real feelings associated with that space that comes from not overfunctioning anymore. When you're acknowledging the reality of the relationship and then you're acknowledging the reality and telling the truth about yourself. Wow, look at how I have tried to overcompensate. Wow, look at, um, what I need to look at within myself of how I've been participating in this dynamic. And with that, then feeling the authentic feelings that come along with that, such as grief, disappointment, sadness, anger, frustration. Like there can be a lot of feelings that you didn't even know were there that can come up. And it's important that you have the right resources and tools to be with those feelings because sometimes the relationship becomes a way to not feel whatever is underneath that the conflict is making up for. So feeling the feelings and taking responsibility and accountability for your part. And what I see so important in that is also being able to acknowledge and tell the truth to someone else. To be able to share with a friend, a therapist, a trusted resource of what you are acknowledging, what you're seeing, and what you're feeling.
And I would say setting up those conversations, especially if it's with a friend or someone untrained, by saying your intentions, right? My intentions are to stay in this relationship. I want you to know that. I don't need help figuring out what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I just need a place, a safe place to process what I am navigating and acknowledge the truth as I'm seeing it now. There's also a responsibility to care for yourself, which ties into the emotions, allowing yourself to acknowledge the emotions, the responsibility to take care of yourself through this, to show up for yourself in truth by caring for yourself, by talking to someone who is safe and trusted, by increasing self care, by doing whatever it is that you need to do to ensure that you are being cared for, that you are being nourished, that you are staying in connection to yourself.
This essential piece, if you are deciding to stay in a relationship that is not meeting you emotionally, where your partner doesn't have the capacity, it's so important that you are not staying and saying to yourself, okay, well, I'm just going to sacrifice and I'm going to not have my needs met and I'm going to stay. It's really important to stay with the mindset of I'm going to up my self-care. I'm going to really center myself and take care of myself. I'm going to build these other resources in my life. I'm not going into this with a lack in taking from my well-being. I'm going into this with how am I going to bolster my environment and my self-care and the resources available to me so that I can stay.
you're going to have to outsource that energy that you were pouring into the partner, trying to get them to change, and all the energy that was going into the over functioning, or however that looks for you. And you're going to want to redirect that energy towards yourself and things that are healthy and feel good for you. And maybe that's okay. I can't go to my partner, right? The truth is, I can't go to my partner for this emotional connection. So maybe that means nourishing other relationships, friendships, spending more time getting together with friends or planning trips or doing a book club or just staying in connection to get that bucket filled, because this is a very basic human need that we all have. And too often I hear women saying what you just said a minute ago, Allie, like, okay, I'm just going to sacrifice. I can do it. I can just continue for years and years and years going without. And, I'm tough. I'm strong. I've done it this long. I can just keep it going. But what we're speaking to is that, well, what I believe is that that's not actually sustainable, and it comes at the cost of your well-being and your life force energy, and you continue to suffer in that space. And so instead of just simply getting by and surviving a situation, finding ways to sustain yourself.
Don't stay out of sacrifice. If you're going to stay, make it self sustaining. And through that, as you said, we need connection. And so, where can you find that outside of your partnership? And this is healthy, whether you're in a healthy marriage or not, right? Like to not have just one source for all your connection and emotional needs and all the needs of your life. So, if you're staying and you're nourishing yourself, you are connecting with friends, you are taking care of your body, you're eating well, you're exercising, you're developing more of your creativity, deepening your faith. You're kind of like broadening the circles of your life and finding other places of that resource you. Maybe you're going for more walks or nature walks. Maybe you're developing a new hobby. Like you are seeking to fill your cup outside of your relationship that is possibly depleting it. Through all of this, the most important thing is that you are nourishing your center. And so, whatever that looks like for you to resource yourself is going to look different for everyone. The final piece that encompasses all of this is acceptance. To accept the reality of your relationship, to accept yourself, to accept what's needed to move forward, to accept all your feelings around it, to accept that you're going to have to keep accepting. It's it's an easy thing to say, it's harder in practice, but it's going to be what carries you through.
Right. So you have responsibility, truth, and acceptance, maintaining that connection to self. We are rooting you on and sending you big love.